They outside out there. Excuse me.
Quite all right, sir.
Where's Lil John?
And this ain't even half a choir.
Last door left.
You giving away your station? Make sure everyone gets one of the booklets completed as soon as you get something to write with. We're going to go ahead and get started as usual. Look it over, formulate your thoughts, so we can have some discussion. There's some oil on that spray, man. Pop it up.
Who's that one? If you see one, don't we need to get out. Not looking for one. Let's look for the community. He don't want to win somewhere and put some sleep, girl. How to talk to them.
Let me flip more this way. Everybody sign over here.
Okay, guys, so again, my name is Earl Kitchings. This is George Casey. We're with a motivational speaking group called Power Square. So last week when we met with you, we just kind of had some general conversation about talking to you about improving yourselves, becoming better individuals. Tonight we want to talk specifically about the 6 things you need to do as it relates to goals. 6 things for basic goals. So before we get started, I would just like to ask a question. Why do you think you should set goals? Why do you think you should set goals? Yes, sir.
Because without goals, if you aim for nowhere, that's where you end up.
If you aim from nowhere, that's where you end up nowhere. Anybody else? Look like you just wait until.
Just come back.
Yes, sir.
Without goals, you can't see. You can't conceive. Without goals, you won't have nothing in life.
Okay, without goals, you don't have anything in life. Yes, sir.
Without goals, your parents didn't. You just living just to be living. Things you said, and no finishing things.
Take a chance or something.
Yes, sir.
Sense of direction.
Sense of direction. So, all the answers are correct answers. You have to have some type of goals because goals will set what kind of achievements or accomplishments you want to have in life. If you don't have any goals, how do you know if you've achieved anything? How do you know if you've accomplished anything?
Y'all need to be quiet.
That's what goals are all about. Looking for the end of something where you will accomplish something or you will achieve something. Having goals will give you some self-worth. Give you some self-worth. As I shared with you last week, if you don't respect yourself, I can't even respect anyone else. If you don't set goals and have any self-value for yourself, how can you go anywhere and be of value to somebody else? Between last week and today, I thought a lot about you gentlemen here because a lot of things happened between last week and today that can change things in your life. So in thinking about being with you guys tonight, beyond just asking what kind of goals do you have or what do you think goals are, something else came to mind as I looked at where young men in this country are in today's times. Where today's young men are, where you guys are, and what's out there for you beyond right here. See, this is just a passing point. This is a passing point. You won't be here forever. But whatever you get here will be valuable for you, perhaps forever. So this is what I thought about as I thought about you guys for tonight. Goals, accomplishments, achievements. You need to ask yourself, you need to do a self-evaluation of yourself. Because when I look at all the things that individuals have invented, have created, have developed, are developing, the question is, what will your contribution to society be? What will each one of your individual contributions to society be? What will you contribute to make a difference? How many of you got a cell phone? You know, 20 years ago, there wasn't no cell phone. How many of you got a computer? You know how to use a computer? Okay. How many of you know how to drive a car? How many of you know how to turn on a microwave? See everybody raising their hand. So y'all think these things just happen because somebody thought it was a good idea and they just happen like that, right? They don't happen like that. Somebody put some thought and effort into thinking of something and then making it come to life. See, some people have made contributions to better your life. From your shoes to what you eat. How many of you eat something that you stuck in a microwave? Okay. When I was growing up, there wasn't no microwave. If you wanted something hot, you got to put it on the stove. You got to cook it, warm it up. Now you guys can just put it in the machine, turn it on, and instantly you got food. You got something hot to eat. So what will your contribution be to life? What will you give back to this society? What will you do to say when you look back and say, you know what? I did something good in life. I did this. You're going to have to ask yourself that question one day, gentlemen. What am I going to do to give back? What did I do? See, because if you don't do anything, what was it all worth? What will you give back? Will you help somebody? Will you invent something? Will you do something to make someone else's life better? Or will you continue to just be one who takes away? You know what they call people who just take? Any idea?
Selfish.
That's one good thing. Either you're a producer or you're a what? Nope. Either you're a producer or you're a consumer. You're producing or you're consuming. You're producing or you're consuming. Most of you in here are consumers. You consume all the time. Always consuming. You're taking something and not putting it back. You're not putting something back. So your goal of accomplishment and achievement is giving something back. You know, when I think about my path in sitting in these type of situations, I've been giving back to young men for a long time. Long time. But that's just what I like to do. But as I've grown, I've come to see that life is not getting any easier for your generation. So if you're not setting goals now, if you're not ready to give something back now, do something productive. Do something productive. Producer. Give something back, man. Stop taking. Stop being selfish and wanting something just for you. There's more to life than just taking. It's a hard thing to give. In the Bible it says it's better to give than receive. Everybody heard that before? How many of you ever thought about that for real though? It's better to give and to receive. Would you give your last?
I would.
Okay. Some people not gonna get, no, man, I ain't giving you my life.
I think taking the last, taking the last, because the thing about it, like, if I call my homeboy, he say he's down to the last, I'm gonna be going. That's showing me that.
But if I tell you you can have it, then what?
I still don't want it.
Okay.
That's
And that's your choice.
That's like, you know what I'm saying? He down to his last, well, I take that because he could have ate, you know what I'm saying? But what I need is like, hey, like, what if I just want it? What I'm saying?
Yeah, well, if you're asking for something petty, but if it was down to your last and he was hungry, would you give it to him?
That's different.
give it to him.
He hungry, you know what I'm saying? What if it's so petty? Like,
Well, true enough, what might be petty to you may not be petty to him. But still, giving versus taking. Giving versus taking. So, we're going to talk about the 6 basic things to goal. I'm going to do the first 3. Mr. Casey's going to do the last 3. So the first thing it says is you have to have a what? What do you think that means? The first question on that side, it says you have to have a goal. Goal? Who said desire? You have to have a desire. There you go. You got to have a desire. Everybody's got a desire to do something. We all got a desire to do something, positive or otherwise. You got to have a burning desire. You got to have a burning desire for something, man. If you don't have a burning desire for it, you're wasting your time. Now, everybody here is working towards some kind of goal for learning some kind of skill. Is that correct? How many of you guys are here into material handling? All right, material handling. I shared with this gentleman last week. Besides material handling, what else did I tell you need to get into?
Business,
Besides that,
logistics.
logistics. Logistics. Anybody know what logistics is? Tell me, sir. Okay, good answer. Logistics. I also told him logistics, and he needed to keep up with the trucking industry. Because the next time he gets on the road, I'm going to tell all you guys the same thing, because logistics has to do with these guys driving these trucks from point A to point B with products on these trucks for you to use. You got to, the products don't just get from the factory to you just because. Okay, so logistics, material handling, learn something about driving a truck. Not saying you're going to drive a truck, but learn about the truck, the trucking industry, the shipping industry. You ever thought about how the people in Puerto Rico and Nassau and Bahamas, Hawaii, do you know how they get what they have on those islands? Do you know how that stuff gets there? You ever thought about how that stuff gets there?
Ship.
Ship a plane. Ship a plane. They can't just walk out like we can over here on the mainland and get stuff. So material handling, logistics go hand in hand. Trucking go hand in hand. If you don't truck it, they put it on a train. If they don't truck it, they put it on a train. Have a burning desire to learn more than just material handling. It's some other parts to this. Anybody know where Blunt Island is?
I heard of it before.
You heard of it. Anybody know where it is? Okay.
I don't know where it is, but I know it's outside of Jacksonville.
No, it's right here in Jacksonville. Yes, sir. At Blunt Island. At Blunt Island. This is where all the cargo ships come in and unload the cargo. Cars, containers. You ever seen a container ship? You ever seen a ship with all those containers stacked up?
Yeah.
You think those things are empty, going nowhere? That's logistics. So if you're in materials handling, learn more than just driving a forklift, man. Learn something other than that. What else go serve? Ask yourself, what else goes with material handling other than driving a freaking forklift?
I'm trying to tell you, what else y'all doing there?
We know it's shipping and receiving.
He said there's more to it.
There's more to it, like,
If
you gotta
business
scan, you
parts,
gotta scan
you think it's
everything.
so small, you talking about there's more to
Okay.
it.
Anybody ever worked at UPS? Not you. Anybody ever worked at UPS to unload and load those trucks? Somebody has? If you have, raise your hand. We got something in common. No? Okay.
Take it, take it.
I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis of how that works with those trucks. The trucks back up to the dock and it's empty. The packages come on a belt and they're coming off the belt and each truck is going to a different location. You, as an hourly wage earner, $10, $12 an hour, you got 4 hours to load one truck. Now you might say, well, I can do that, no problem. No, you cannot. Because they want that truck loaded from the front to the back in 4 hours. 4 hours. Now think about how many packages, boxes, can get in a truck in a matter of 4 hours. Think about it. A lot, but guess what? You as the person that's got to put those packages in there, guess what? They got a system at UPS, it's called a wall. When you put that package in there, they want that package to be in there so it does not move. So if you don't stack it right, and they open that truck and packages everywhere, you probably gonna get fired.
It is gonna be fine.
Okay? So you gotta learn how to do this in a matter of time, and at the same time, you gotta scan the package to make sure it's going to the right place. 4 hours. You get a 15-minute break and you back to work. 4 hours. Okay? Huh? That's what I'm saying. You gotta scan it. You gotta scan. That stuff is coming, man. You gotta scan it and stack it. Scan it and stack it. From the front to the back.
In numerical order. Just make sure it's the right address.
Okay? So, I'm saying that from this standpoint, you need to learn more about what you're doing than just part A. It's a part B, C, D, E, F, G. Second thing on there says, know what you are willing to what?
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Very good. You got to give up something. 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 Your time, your girl, your car. I mean, you're going to have to sacrifice something. It ain't just going to be easy where it's just all going to come to you. You got to give something back. We just talked about giving and taking. So what you going to give up? What you willing to give up? What is anybody willing to give up to make $100,000 a year? What are you willing to give up?
Materialistic stuff.
Materialistic things, such as
Man, I don't know, bro.
Going out.
Materialistic.
Going out.
Buying unnecessary first.
okay.
Hang with the boys. Fuck y'all.
What about 8 years before you get the degree? So
Hang with the boys. Fuck y'all.
it's not a sacrifice.
Okay. It is. It is. So now you've given up 8 years of your life. What is the one thing that you will do for the rest of your life?
Make work.
Pay bills.
So those 8 years that you did to improve yourself so you could get that job was an investment in. Exactly. So it wasn't something you gave up, it was an investment. But again, would you be willing to throw all that away to get a $100,000 a year job?
Personally?
Yeah. No? Okay.
I'm going that high.
You're not going that high. Not a problem. But you do have to give up something. You have to give up something.
Time.
Time? Okay. Time is a commodity we all have, and it's pretty much free. But you know what they say, time is money. Time is money. So if I got to spend my time, I need to be getting paid. Now, let me ask you a question. How much do you think a consultant makes hourly? Like a lawyer, lawyers get paid hourly. How much do you think a consultant makes?
17.
Huh?
17.
17 what?
Dollars.
$17 an hour?
No,
Maybe.
depends on what they're consulting on.
Okay, very good. Depending on what they're consulting, just like a lawyer. Depending.
Every time a lawyer wins, part of that, a chunk of that money that they won for somebody goes to the lawyer.
Suppose they don't win, does he
They
still
don't
get
get
paid?
anything.
You
have to pay, you have, it's a.
And they get 33% out of it?
Those,
Something like that.
okay, that kind of lawyer is a personal injury lawyer. Okay, he's saying that, and we don't win your case, you don't have to pay me. I'm not talking about a person. I'm
Yeah,
talking
okay,
about
lawyer,
just a lawyer,
That's what
period.
I'm saying.
You know?
You got to pay them regardless.
So they have to pay anyway.
They still get
But anyways, back on topic.
So, I asked that question because you can set your own amount if you're a consultant. For instance, I specialize in sports marketing. Okay? If somebody wants me to come in and help them with a project, it's $85 an hour. But that's because I have a master's degree and I have 20 years experience in collegiate sports. I wish. I'm still learning. But still, I can set that and I can adjust that. If they don't have it, okay, well, I'll take a little less. Or depending on what kind of job it is, it might be more. See, when you work for yourself, you make your own call on how much you want to make, how much you think you're valued at. You got to have some value in order to ask for those dollars, right? So, in order for me to get to that position, I had to work and go to school at the same time. I had to give up some time. I got to give up some hours because I got to write papers. I got to give up something in order for me to get to that class. So, think about what you want to give up in order to get to where you're trying to go. Because it's not going to be a free ride. Nothing is a free ride. Trust me, nothing is a free ride. It may seem free. Yes, sir.
How long do you think it'll take to get like that degree in communications?
Your first degree or your second degree? First one. Normally it takes 4 to 5 years to get a degree in bachelor's. If you work harder, you might can get it in 3. Go to school year round, you might can get it in 4. It depends on you.
On to their master's in psychology.
How many?
13 to get a master's in psychology.
But she was working and going to school at the same time.
Actually, it took her
Raising a
less,
family.
but she wanted everything out of it. She wanted everything she could get out of it. So to get everything, 13.
13 years.
My mom got her master's in
That was her investment. That was her investment. You have to make a self-evaluation of what you think you can. I mean, right now, if I ask you, how much do you think you
As you practice,
If I ask you how much you think you're worth, I don't know.
I'm worth
You think you're worth millions?
I'm Google.
You think so? Really?
I work for Google.
So, if you think you're worth millions, and you were trying to get a job,
Google's
I'm worth for that. You
would
pay
you
me.
accept $30,000 if you're worth millions? I thought you was worth millions. Okay.
$30,000 sounds better than 23K here.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's all a process.
2301.
It's all a process. You gotta start somewhere. You gotta start somewhere. Once upon a time, minimum wage wasn't even $1.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You said we take the $30,000.
I was asking him because he said he was worth a
Your
million.
soft trade, sir.
That's what I'm asking.
I see about 25.
So, okay. But you gotta give up something, guys. You gotta be willing to sacrifice something. Okay? You gotta be willing, if you're working on whatever you're working on here to get that certificate, and you need to spend an hour extra every day, or an hour extra every week to get better than your roommate or your friend here,
You better get on your hustle, like, oh,
third thing, it says write what? Write it what? Write it what? What's the third thing? Write it. Write it. Write it down. Write it down. Whatever goals you got, write them down. Now, I asked last week if anybody would write their goals down and bring them and share them. Did anybody do that?
I do.
You got it? So tell me you got it in your head now.
No, I got it in my phone.
Okay. Share one of your goals that you wrote down. I'll give it when you pull it up. You got to write things down. You got to write things down. You got to write things down. You can't remember everything.
Short term or long term?
Short term.
Short term, like I said, for a different job, for one thing.
Okay. All right. Long term.
Long term, for them, I got real estate.
Real estate. money goes to.
I already know my.
Own your own warehouse, then you can hire some forklift and guys. How about that? Have your own business. Anybody watch My Wife and Kids? Anybody seen that show?
Yeah.
With Damon Wayans? Okay, here's the question. Somebody tell me what Damon Wayans does. Raise your hand. Somebody, not you.
The ball guy?
Yeah, somebody.
Runs warehouse.
Huh?
No. That's on the show.
Yeah, what is his job on the show? What job does he have?
Oh, you got a, I don't know.
He works in the warehouse, he's a manager.
No, he doesn't.
Trucking job?
What kind of job?
Trucking job.
What kind of job?
Trucking job.
He owns his own trucking company.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference between a trucking job and owning my own company. No. He owns. That's what he does. I own a trucking business. How much do you think one of those rigs cost, the tractor and the trailer? How much do you think one of those costs?
150 G's,
100?
150,000.
Give it 287.
It's somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000. But guess what? You got to get your CDL, that's true. But the jobs that you're going to earn with your truck, see, the whole thing is earning some money with that truck. You know, so if you don't drive a tractor trailer, I always thought about having a dump truck. A dump truck.
Good job. Waste management.
Moving dirt, moving earth. Okay? That's logistics. Somebody get paid for that every day. Move some dirt. Okay? But you got to learn how to drive that truck. Then you got to be able to buy that truck. Now, I was telling this young man, there's a guy right here in Jacksonville that I don't know him personally. He played for my father's football. He owns a trucking company called Raven Transport. Blackbird owns it. Okay. That's an African-American man that owns that company.
There's sign in the wrong spot.
Now, he probably owns 200 trucks. 200 trucks. 200 trucks. So again, the next time you guys are out going from point A to point B, count the number of trucks you see. Just count them. You know, just to say, man, I counted 10 trucks just now, and I was just driving 5 minutes. Because every one of those trucks is either taking something or going to pick it up. They're moving something. You know, they're moving something. Go by a warehouse and look at trucks. Go by the Budweiser plant out of Dunn Avenue and US and 95. You guys are rolling those trucks in every day, man. They're moving some beer every day. Coca-Cola's moving Cokes every day. Okay? So think about what's going on in this world. How would you plug into what's going on? Write your goals down. Be willing to give up and sacrifice something. Time, energy, whatever you got to give up to get better. Remember, you got to have a burning desire. If it don't burn in here, it ain't going to last long. If it's short term, you know, today you want to be this, tomorrow you want to be that, man. 10 years from now, man, you told me you was going to do this. Man, I started doing that. Some people can't stick to nothing. They start and stop, start and stop, start. You know anybody like that? Start and stop.
Quitters.
Well, ain't no quitter, they just indecisive.
They're quitters.
No, they're
Because
indecisive.
when it doesn't go their way, they quit. Quitters.
It's two different.
Well, that's true. It is called having options, but don't let your options be so frequent that,
You quit.
like, dude, you look on when you fill out that job application and you don't put down like 10 jobs, it's like, dude, how many jobs have you had in the last year? You've had 10 jobs?
Quitters.
So, what happens with the employer?
Ain't
You're a
gonna
high
hire you.
risk, and I don't know if I want to hire you because you'll quit on me. You might not be here tomorrow. That might be. So, what's the first thing you got to do? You got to have what? Burning desire. Man, is everybody, am I the only one that's with? What's the next thing? Sacrifice. Desire, sacrifice, and what's the third thing? Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Mr. Casey.
Who can tell me what circumstances are? Circumstances. Yes, sir.
Unexpected things that happen in your life.
I feel like so it depends on the situation. How many people feel that they're here at Job Corps because of their circumstances? You're here because of circumstances. Everybody has circumstances. You may come from a broken home. You may come from only a single parent home, a broke home. You know, there's a lot of circumstances that lead people to where they are. There's a quote. I'm one of those people I love quotes. One of my favorite quotes is by a guy named George Bernard Shaw. He said, "I don't believe in circumstances." He said, "The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and they look for the circumstances that they want. And if they can't find them, they make them. If you can't find the circumstances you want, you got to make them." I brought these FedEx boxes. How many people have ever seen the FedEx logo or FedEx truck some kind of way? Everybody seen the FedEx logos at some point in time? How many people have ever seen the arrow on the FedEx logo? Let me show y'all for the people who haven't seen it before. The arrow is between the E and the X. So I'll pass that around and let y'all look at it. So you might have seen